What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp, back with episode 127 of Room Tour Project, the series where we show off the best gaming setups to give you some ideas, inspirations for your own setup. This episode is going to be a special budget edition by popular demand. If you see anything you like, I will have it all listed for you in the description down below so you can check it out. But let's start off episode 127. Now before we begin, I want to remind everybody, because this always comes up every single budget episode, just because you think a particular product is pricey or you can't afford it, doesn't mean it's still not considered budget. A $50 gaming mouse might be cheap to someone and still really expensive to the next person. Compared to the setups we usually show off, these are more downscaled and budget friendly. So first we have a white and red setup theme here. It takes advantage with screen real estate by extending it onto a little tablet. Unfortunately, all he has listed down for this monitor is that it's 1080p, but from the looks of it, we can assume it's around 24 inches. But as for that tablet, it is the Xiaomi Mi Pad. Either using it as a second display or using dongles, he could hook it up to his monitor and have just some extra browsing space. Checking out his peripherals, we have the Xiaomi Yumi mechanical keyboard going along with the Asus Gladius mouse. And he has those paired with the Sennheiser HD 598 SE headphones. And even though these can't be bought anymore, they did retail for around $90 to $100 at the time. But altogether, for his peripherals, a lot of mix of the Xiaomi products, as well as the Xiaomi lamps, lights, even like his Bluetooth speakers are from Xiaomi. So taking advantage of those budget companies. And heading over to the PC, he has the Deepcool Ducas case. And inside is an AMD FX 8320, a very popular CPU with 14 gigs of RAM he has written down, kind of odd, and a GTX 780. So definitely a budget build here, but it does look nice. Finding a budget white case like that definitely helps it fit in with the rest of his setup. Now he does have a secondary workstation here, so kind of pushing the limits here for the budget, but that is an Asus ZenBook Flip, so again also very affordable, with a Redragon Vara keyboard, definitely budget, and a Logitech G102 mouse. So he's definitely keeping price in mind here and going with the lower end options. Both of those peripherals are around $30. So a good example of a variety budget setup here, with a budget PC and not going overboard. Now Adrian here is rocking two displays with the monitor and a TV mounted overhead, plus the RGB light strips to give his room some pop and color. But the kicker here is that ViewSonic 22-inch monitor is $120, and that 1080p 32-inch Hisense TV above is only $170, so $300 total here for both of the displays. That's what I'm talking about. So he also has a pretty nice and organized desktop, no unnecessary clutter or anything, always like when it's nice and clean. Again, the RGB light strips are going to coordinate with the kind of red color theme he has going on, seemingly has one behind his desk and one behind his TV. For his peripherals, it's the Corsair Gaming K70 Rapid Fire RGB keyboard. It's probably one of the more expensive peripherals we're going to see, along with the Redragon Mirage M690 mouse. On an extended mouse pad here from MSI, and turning things over to his audio, we have the SteelSeries H wireless headset, and these were pricier when they launched back in 2014, but again, that was 4 years ago. You could have picked these up aftermarket or on a good sale. Who knows? That's the kind of stuff that makes these budget episodes kind of hard to decipher, the kind of price they paid for things without them openly just telling me. Now we're going to check out the PC, and this is an Air-Cool Quartz RGB. I tried finding where you can buy this from. I think it's only available in Taiwan, but Air-Cool is going to be one of their more budget option companies. So inside for his PC, he has an i5 7600K with an MSI GTX 1050 Ti graphics card and an MSI B250M Nordic motherboard with the Corsair H100i V2 cooler. So it's safe to say we don't have all the product stuff here, like I'm not too sure for RAM, but I'm looking at around $500 to $600 total for this PC. I mean, the CPU and GPU combined are around $450, so it's really not too bad considering those are going to be the main components here. But altogether, I really like what you're doing here with the space. You take advantage of the two displays. Keeping it organized and color coordinated here is always the key to a great looking setup, despite the price. Alright, so for Marcel, probably one of the more expensive ones on this list, but again, judging by some of the specs, it's honestly not that insane. The price, that is. The setup itself is definitely insane looking. It's very, very nice. Need to clarify that. So for all those that's going to ask, the desk is custom made, but it does have the IKEA Malm drawer unit there keeping it up. For his solo display, we have a 27-inch Asus MX279H monitor. Looks pretty sleek, and it's just at $200 for this panel. For audio, he does have the M-Audio BX5 A Studio monitors powered by these Focusrite Scarlett 6i6 audio interface, which he has custom painted white, and a little salt lamp there to throw in some extra color to his setup. But as for his peripherals, he has the IKBC F108 RGB mechanical keyboard. They have cherry brown switches, loving the white double shot PBT keycaps here, and for his mouse, it's Logitech MX Master Mouse on again an extended mouse pad. And for his PC, he does say it needs to be upgraded, but I still think it looks pretty nice at least. It's an NZXT H440 case, and inside's an Intel i5 4460 CPU with 8 gigs of Corsair Vengeance RAM and an EVGA GTX 750 graphics card. So yeah, it's older, but I mean, it probably still performs okay depending on what you play. And the H440 is still just a glorious case. I've always loved the looks of this. So while this one tends to be more on the budget side in regards to the PC, the setup overall still looks banging. And yes, while some of the peripherals here are kind of more on the expensive side, that's really where the splurge is. He does have a budget monitor, the budget PC, the desk is custom made. So if you want to splurge in your peripherals, it's okay. Next up, we have Andrew here coming in with what I'm just going to say is a Seahawks themed setup with the greens and blues. And even though I'm an Eagles fan, I think we're the better bird. We can claim the green, but it's all good. I'm just messing with you. So what I like about this setup is it's just the necessities. It's a smaller desk, so not a lot of room for really, just unneeded things. Keeping it bare bones here to everything he needs. As for the solo display, it is a 23-inch 1080p monitor from Asus. Again, complemented by the light strip along the backside of his desk. I do feel like possibly mounting this onto the wall would have helped you save some desk space, but again, I don't know if you're even allowed to mount in your certain situation. Just a little suggestion on my end. As for the peripherals, his keyboard is the Red Dragon S101 gaming keyboard with one of those generic gaming mice from Amazon. It's called the PC Mac Linux gaming mouse on a Reflex Lab extended gaming mousepad with Logitech Z323 speaker setup here. On a stand behind his monitor are a pair of headphones, which is more the luxury item here, the Audio-Technica M50Xs. Now over to his PC, he has a Roswell ATX case. These are always extremely affordable. Inside is an AMD Ryzen 3 1200 CPU with their Wraith Stealth cooler that comes stock with it. On an MSI Ryzen B350 motherboard. No info on RAM or anything, but his GPU is an EVGA GTX 1060. Again, if you can find GPUs at MSRP, I think 1060 is the best bang for buck. And for the most part, cable management job is locked down underneath the desk, keeping everything tidy, nothing really drooping down, getting in the way, so good job on that. But altogether, good job overall, set in the beginning, but nothing unnecessary here. You're just doing what you can with your desk setup to keep it all, practical. RIP Legion of Boom. And then is Elijah. We don't often have just dedicated laptop gaming setups, but again, definitely wanted to throw one of these in here because I think it fits the criteria, even though there really is no criteria. So checking out that laptop, it is an Acer VX15. As for the specs, inside's an Intel i5 7300HQ KB Lake CPU. It does have 12 gigs of RAM, which he upgraded from the stock 4 gigs, with an NVIDIA GTX 1050 graphics card. And I went back and I checked the pricing history of this, and the entry-level retail was only $800, which really isn't that bad considering this is his main setup as a whole. He did upgrade the RAM like he said, but having this for gaming, work and doing college work like he said, that's a pretty good price for an entry-level laptop like this. And for his peripherals, they're definitely well justified. His speakers are the Creative SBS A350, definitely get those for a good price. His keyboard is the Razer Ornata Chroma, which is definitely their budget entry option for a gaming keyboard with Chroma that is not mechanical. And his mouse is the Logitech G402. So with all things considered, this setup as a whole is looking at around $1,100 to $1,200, depending on what he paid for the RAM, which I think is a pretty good price point. And having the budget peripherals in addition to your laptop to create this setup turned out to be a pretty good result in the end. So definitely good stuff, and like I said guys in the beginning, keep in mind everyone's budget's going to be different. I mean, look up the definition of the word budget, but I did kind of want to scale back the setups and show off, some good things you can do with your setup if you don't have a lot of money. And I showed off some pretty good budget companies and peripheral options for anybody out there looking to save some money. Hopefully this episode helped you out. And this episode of Room Tour Project is sponsored by Corsair and the Dark Core RGB SE wireless gaming mouse. With RGB lighting, a really unique texture, and of course a 1 millisecond response time, you don't have to sacrifice anything and your competitive play will not be jeopardized. And it'll help keep down the clutter with no cables. If you're interested, check the link in the description down below. Alright guys, that'll wrap it up for episode 127 of Room Tour Project, the special budget edition. Hope you enjoyed. If you see anything you like here, I will have it all listed for you in the description down below so you can check it out, as well as some simple instructions on how to submit your setup if you want to be possibly considered to be on a future episode of Room Tour Project. Just check the description for everything. If you liked the episode, give it a thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And last, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Well, I'm Random Frank P. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.